Right, hello, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under, where today we are going international with the international break all but over. We're going to look at how our international stars have gotten on today. Well, not today, but during this international break. Before we go any further, though, just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who have supported the channel over the last couple of months. We've gotten to 3,000 subscribers. It's a huge, it's a nice little milestone for me. It's a great show of support from you guys who want to help see this channel grow. And yeah, so I thank you all for that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So yes, firstly and most importantly, Australia are going to the World Cup. For the Aussies watching, regardless of what you think it means for Australian football as a whole, you still got to celebrate this moment because we're heading to our 5th World Cup in a row and bring on Qatar. Now, as for those who are curious, Tom Rogic actually did not play any part in either of the playoffs against UAE or Peru this morning. He pulled out of the camp due to personal reasons, but he should be on that plane to Qatar. Even though he won't be a Celtic player anymore, we still like to keep, up to date with how our Wizard of Oz goes. Anyways, Celtic had 12 players off on international duty in this off-season, and they've done us proud. I think overall, they have done well, Celtics boys. Let's start where the bulk of our players went for Scotland. Now, yes, I am half Scottish myself, so I have been majorly disappointed by some of Scotland's performances in this international break. None more disappointing than against Ukraine and the Republic of Ireland. The lackluster, shambolic, just words you can put out there to describe the performances. But our Celtic boys specifically, the blame cannot be on them. Against Ukraine, Callum McGregor was the only player out there who was willing to win the match. He was the only one out there who wanted to play and die for his country. He played with 100% intensity all game, as if he was playing for Celtic. He got the goal that gave us Scotland fans a glimmer of hope, but ultimately he was let down by the rest of his teammates, and it was just such an anticlimactic performance, I can't lie, and it was really, really disappointing. Against Armenia, though, there were signs of improvement. Tony Ralston was handed his international debut and took the opportunity just as he took his opportunity under Ange. He had a man of the match performance, a goal on his debut, and that has capped off what has been, I would say, a revolutionary season for Tony Ralston. It has been, a great year for him and great season on that matter. Now, obviously, you've also got David Turnbull and Greg Taylor, who don't seem to be, Greg Taylor, I don't really think he's not really ever going to get a look in. He's got Andy Robertson ahead of him. He's got Kieran Tierney ahead of him. I feel for him. He hasn't gotten a look in yet. David Turnbull also hasn't gotten a look in yet. And I was hoping he would because, he pretty much deserved one after the shambolic performances of the midfielders around Callum McGregor, especially against Ukraine. But you got to wonder what's going through the mind of Steve Clarke's head right now against Armenia, because if he makes the wrong choices selection-wise, the critics will be all over him. They will have a field day, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Regardless, though, away from Scotland, we had 2 of our Japanese boys on international duty as well. Kyogo and Daisen Maeda have had their work cut out for them and have the final of the Kirin Cup, I believe it's pronounced, tonight against Tunisia, a couple hours after this video is released at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I believe that is around 10:30. No, not 10:30. I think that's 10 in Glasgow time. I think. I could be very, very wrong, but we'll have to see there. Regardless, they have been a mixed bag for Japan so far. I guess Japan have actually had quite a few games already in this Nations break, and they are an incredible team. I personally believe that Japan are the best team in Asia right now, without a doubt, and they are really well coached and they play great football. Now, against Brazil, Kyogo started the match and had a poor game. I have to be completely honest here, and I have to be, all bias aside, the fact that Kyogo is an amazing person and an amazing footballer. He had a shocker. One positive, though, he did absolutely clatter Neymar Jr. and send him back to Sao Paulo or wherever he was born in Brazil. Daisen Maeda, on the other hand, he has been regularly used as a super sub for Japan, and he came on to change games, and he did so in the semi-final of the Kirin Cup. He was brought on in the 80th minute against Ghana, scoring an 81st minute goal. He scored within 2 minutes of coming onto the pitch, and that secured a 4-1 win and booked their place in the final against Tunisia. Moving on though, Georgios Giakoumakis has started 3 of the 4 games for Greece in their Nations League matches during the international break. Ironically, he scored in the only match he didn't start. That's I don't know, just the goals, they come weird for Giakoumakis, but he's always on that score sheet, you know? And the goal was incredible. It was a dazzling header. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go look it up. I think it was against Kosovo, I believe, Greece versus Kosovo highlights. It is a wondrous header. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of some of Henrik Larsson's great headers that I always see on the highlight reels. So think of that as what you will, but he has been raved about in the Greek media, lauded by so many outlets. And not only was the goal superb, you know, it came at such a crucial time. You know, they were 0-0 heading into the final 20 minutes of the match. He scores in the 71st, opens the scoring up, and Greece ended up winning the match 2-0. Obviously, a huge momentum boost from Giakoumakis' goal and put them ahead at a very late stage. It was his first goal for Greece since 2020, a goal he himself has since conceded that he needed desperately. And while his general play has been quite good, you know, as a striker, if you're not getting those goals and you're not putting the ball in the back of the net, you're not doing your job, regardless of how good your hold-up play is and whatever the hell, you know, the stats show, you know, how many touches in the opposition third. No one cares about that. All that matters is the scoreline. Goals win matches. Striker's goal is to score goals. Giakoumakis, he scored a goal. He's doing pretty well. Regardless, though, remaining on the theme of Europe, and Liel Abada has forced his way into the Israel national team after some impressive performances for the under-21s team. He was called up to the senior team, and he scored his first ever goal for the senior team against Israel. It wasn't against Israel because he's playing for Israel, and he has started every single game in this international break for Israel. Now, the Israel manager, I believe it is pronounced Alon Hazan, is clearly a big fan of Abada's, saying in an interview regarding a question of Abada's playing time, there is no reason to wait until the age of 23 with players who are able to bring high ability to the senior Israeli team, even at a younger age. In fact, age does not matter to me. The ones who are good and can contribute are the ones who should play. Now, we head over to the Americas after that little segment of Liel Abada. It's great to see Abada, by the way, before we move on actually, to be doing so well at international level. He's really made so much progress and development under Ange this season, and he's been getting recognised for it. You know, I think the director of football of Israel labelled him worth £17 million, and I'll be honest with you, give it another season, give it 2 seasons, I think he could be worth that much, even more maybe. So his development is going, I think, much better than a lot of the people behind the scenes at Celtic thought, and I think he's ready. I think he's due for a really good season at Celtic. Now we head over to the Americas, and specifically the United States of America, where our permanent American boy, Cameron Carter-Vickers, made his first international start for USA since 2018. He played the full 90 minutes against Grenada, following a solid 45-minute appearance against Morocco. And that caps off for Cameron Carter-Vickers what has also been what has been a breakout season for him at Celtic. You know, since 2018, he's never really been featured in the national team again. You know, but his most recent call-up and the performances, it will be a great positive and a great confidence booster for him in terms of the fact that there's a World Cup coming on at the end of the year. Funny that, it's at the end of the year. Well, he will be looking to book his ticket to Qatar, and he'll be pushing during the rest of the international breaks this season for a spot in the USA's World Cup team. And speaking of a place in a World Cup team, Matt O'Reilly, who recently changed allegiances to Denmark, has been pretty solid for the Denmark under-21 squad, putting in impressive performances against Kazakhstan, Scotland, and I believe tonight they play Turkey. I could be wrong so far at the under-21s Euros. And funny enough, he actually played against Stevie Welsh, who captains the Scotland under-21s team, which I'm sure we all know. Stevie Welsh has been doing well. He always does well for the national team. He plays for the country. But Matt O'Reilly has also been doing very well, and I don't think it will be too far away before we see Matt O'Reilly in the senior Danish team. Maybe the World Cup at the end of this year is just a bit too early for him. But if, with Tom Rogic leaving, he's in line to start for Celtic. If he can start putting in some cracking performances, I wouldn't be shocked to see him in Qatar at the end of the year. And last but certainly not least, you guys thought I forgot about him. Our fireball, Josip Juranovic. He has been shining for Croatia. He is really, I think he has been one of the best international Celts so far. Well, yeah, he's been one of the best Celtic players on international duty during this international break. And look, he's just been on form. He started every single game for Croatia during this international break. 2 games at right back, 2 games at left back. No performance, by the way, better than this morning against France. He kept a clean sheet to help Croatia pocket a 1-0 win over France. And when he's going home, he went home, he checked his pockets out in the afternoon, and you know who he found there? Christian Nkunku and Kylian Mbappe, because they could not get away from him. And also notably, just as a little win for all of the Celtic fans, but well, of course it's all you Celtic fans watching out there, and also a little dig for you Rangers fans, a little bit of salt for your chicken and chips. He took Borna Barisic's left back spot. Thought I might just end on that, and that is all from me. So if you guys did enjoy this sort of recap video about Celtic players on international duty, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for the support recently. We're heading for 4K, but we've got a long way to go. So until next time, hail, hail.